everyone, this is Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this oh so pretty table runner. You can make this runner any length you want, and I'll explain later in the video how you can adjust the sizes. So let's get started. Here is the block layout for the two squares at each end. This is, in the center is the A fabric, the B fabric, C fabric, and then here is the D fabric, and this is the main part of the table runner that goes through the center also. I'm making a 60-inch long runner in this video, but I explain later how you can make it shorter or longer. You'll need the following sizes for the block. A fabric, you'll need two 6.5-inch squares. B fabric, 4 2-inch by 6.5-inch, 4 2-inch by 9.5-inch. C fabric, 4 2-inch by 9.5-inch, 4 2-inch by 12.5-inch. D fabric, you'll need two 9-inch squares and one piece for the very center of the runner. This is an approximate size. You'll need 18.5-inch by 28.5-inch. Size may vary. You'll need approximately 1 1/8 yard. Fabric for the back, 18.5-inch by 64-inch, and you'll need approximately 1 1/8 yard. The size may vary. Cotton batting, 21-inch by 70-inch. If you buy it in pre-cut pieces that are in a package, make sure the piece is this approximate size. You can also buy cotton batting off of the giant rolls and take it to the cutting table, and they can cut off exactly what you need. This is my A fabric, my B fabric, C fabric, and D fabric. Take your A fabric, your 6.5-inch square, and your two strips of B fabric that are 2 inches wide by 6.5 inches long. Bring it front side down on top of the A fabric. Stitch 1/4 inch seam. Then press the seam on the back, unfold, and press on top. And press your seam towards the outside strip. Take your next two strips of B fabric and bring them on top. Stitch 1/4 inch seam along here. Again, press on the back side, unfold, press on top, and push the seam again towards the outside strip. Adding on the C fabric, start with the two shortest strips. Place them on the sides. Stitch 1/4 inch seam, press on the back, unfold, and press on top. Then add on your two longer strips of your C fabric. Stitch 1/4 inch seam, press the seam on the back, unfold, and then press on top. And your seams are always being pressed towards the outside strips. Before you move on to the next step, I recommend that you check the size of your square to see what it came out to. It should come out fairly close to 12.5 inches square. So I'm going to lay my ruler on there and line it up on all of the edges. And mine came out just slightly under 12.5 inches square, but it's close enough to go on to the next step. Take your two squares of your D fabric and place them on top of each other. Line up your ruler going from corner to corner and then cut them in half. Take this fabric and bring it on top. Make sure you have 1/4 inch extending out past each end. Then stitch 1/4 inch seam, press on the back, unfold, and press on top. And again, press the seam going out and away from the block. Then go over to this side. I'm going to turn it a little bit and do the same thing. Place this on top. Make sure you have 1/4 inch extending out past each edge. Stitch 1/4 inch seam, press on the back side, unfold, and press on top. At this corner, this one and this one, you have these little tails that stick off, so you want to cut these off. Just place your ruler along the edge there and trim them off. Make 2 of these blocks. Check the width up here of the top edge of both blocks. So either place it on your cutting mat or use a ruler. And mine came out almost exactly the same. They came out to about 17¼ inches. Now it's going to vary from each one of you. Some of you sew differently than others. So before you cut your fabric for the center section of the runner, check the width, and whatever that width is, that's how wide you cut your center section. Place the end of the square with the 2 D fabric sections on it. Bring it front side down on your D fabric for the center section of the table runner. Line up your edges and pin across. After pinning across, then go ahead and stitch 1/4 inch seam. Then again, press the seam on the back side, unfold, and press the seam on top. And you could push the seam in either direction. Just make sure the seam all the way across is going in one direction. Now you're ready to cut out your cotton batting and the fabric for the back. I always cut my cotton batting and my fabric for the back several inches wider and several inches longer than what I actually need, because I'm going to cut everything at the same time to be an exact fit. So place your cotton batting down first, then take the fabric for the back and put the back side on top of that. So you're looking at the pretty side of your fabric. Now take your table runner top and face the pretty side facing down. Center the table runner so that you have a little bit of fabric extending out past all edges. Then place pins all the way down the center, all the way to the other end. Place the ruler's edge on the edge of your table runner top. Take your time lining up that ruler and then begin cutting your cotton batting and fabric for the back off. Continue going around all of the edges until they're all cut. Place pins on all of the edges. On one side, leave an opening somewhere in the middle that's large enough for your hand to go through. This opening will be used to turn the table runner front side out. So start stitching here, and you want to back stitch always on each side of your opening. So start here, back stitch first, stitch down to the corner. Let me move this down. Whenever you get to a corner, stop when you're about a quarter of an inch away from the next edge. Leave your needle down through all the fabric, lift up your presser foot, turn the table runner, and continue stitching down the next edge. Do that at all corners, stitch all the way around, and then of course as you get back, you're going to back stitch here. On all the corners, you want to trim them down to about 1/8 of an inch wide. So be careful you don't cut through your stitching, and if you're using a rotary cutter like I am, make sure you keep your fingers at a safe distance. I'm going to cut a little bit off on the side over here, because when we turn this front side out, these corners are going to be really bulky. So you want to get rid of some of the bulk. And even these little corners right here that are at a funny little angle, I would take some off of there too. So do that at all your corners. Reach inside the opening and go all the way down to one end and grab a hold of the end and then begin pulling it front side out. Reach inside and poke at all the corners, including these little funny ones off on the side. Push those out and make sure you go to the other end and do the same thing. At the opening, fold your edges in 1/4 inch and pin. Now you have several options for permanently closing this. You could either do a machine stitch close to the edge and make sure you use matching thread, or if you would like to do a ladder stitch, which is a hidden hand stitch, you could do that too. If you're interested in learning how to do a ladder stitch, click on the link in the upper right hand corner. I also recommend that you press this nice and flat so that you can get your edges to lay correctly. I would pin the edges, get them all lined up in place pins, and then go around and press with your iron all of the edges so that everything lays flat. The last step would be to do your quilting stitches, and I highly recommend you do this. The purpose of the quilting stitches is to hold all of the fabric layers together so they do not shift apart during use or while it's being washed. So here are some basic samples of quilting stitch patterns that I highly recommend for beginners. You can just do straight stitches going top to bottom, side to side. You can even do them on a diagonal. Most of your machines that have been manufactured in the last 20 years, computerized machines, have the serpentine stitch on it. This is the one I use all the time. So you can do the same pattern, except it's a wavy line. I like the serpentine stitch because if your lines aren't exactly straight, it's not very noticeable. You can also do the serpentine stitch on a diagonal. To learn more about quilting stitches for beginners, click on the link in the upper right hand corner. If you want your table runner longer than 60 inches or shorter than 60 inches, then the center section piece is where you would adjust those measurements. So your center section piece, either make it longer or shorter. For more table runner projects, play this video until a green screen appears and then click on the links. Phone or iPad and enter. I'm so distracted by what you guys are doing. If you like this video, please click on thumbs up and don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red button down there in the lower right hand corner of your screen. Click on the bell and enter your email address so you receive those email notifications. If you're not receiving your email notifications, go to your cell phone or iPad, click on settings, and turn notifications on. This is Maria and Bailey, Manny, Jamie, and Teddy. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.